I watched a movie. Well, I watched a lot of movies, but I did get a chance to watch Barbarian, and I kind of wanted to take a moment to talk about Barbarian. Have do a little quick take. Have you by chance seen Barbarian yet, Gabe?
I was gonna end up watching it last night, but I threw on a Pink Floyd playlist and kind of zoned out and fell asleep. So
I mean, I can't say that was a bad idea.
there, there were worse ways to spend an evening. I'll put it to you
Right,
that way.
right. But I watched Barbarian just mainly because I didn't know anything about this movie. Like I just heard all I heard was is that it just everybody was talking about it. And I was that
hmm
essentially. And I was like, let's watch this fucking movie. And I have to say it was pretty damn good. I had a really good time. I'm not gonna say it was the most amazing fucking thing I ever saw. I don't really think I have a whole lot of bad things to say about it. But it's kind of it's kind of a weird setup where it does do well, okay, it doesn't do the one thing that I've mentioned before that I hate when movies do. It does it, but it doesn't do
Oh,
it. Where you know how like and again bringing up the '09 Friday the 13th because this is the one that really made me start hating this fucking style or whatever the fuck this thing is. But a movie getting like 20 to 25 minutes in and then you see the fucking credit and then it's like okay, that was just like some backstory shit. Now our real story starting like already a half hour in. I hate that for some. It just bothers me.
the, I had a smart ass thing to say, of course, but uh, then I remembered that there really isn't anything after it when Martin Scorsese puts the title at the end of the movie, and Quentin Tarantino does it too.
No, but it doesn't do that because it's like it really does kind of like flow as a continually moving forward story aside from two or three flashback scenes, but they're not the flashback scenes are really cool and they work with the story like that they don't interrupt anything, which is good.
hmm
Um but it's a, flowing fucking story, but it is I like the moving parts. It works, yes. It does have a moment where the story kind of takes a left turn and all of a sudden where we're not with or where we were for a good portion of the beginning, but it all comes around. It's not like it works. They like I said they did it, but they didn't do
hmm
it. um I liked the performances. I don't fucking remember what the name of the main actress is in it, but she was good. She was good. I liked her. um one of the Scars guard one of the Scars guards is in it, the one that played Pennywise most recently. I think it's Alexander,
Yes.
maybe. There's too many.
There,
I just named them by the roles they've done.
because the dads usually plays a bad guy, Stellan,
Mm.
and except in the MCU.
Yeah, yeah. I hope we
Hmm.
see more of him. I like his character too. But no, but he's in it and he's fucking great. He's fucking fantastic. And then I don't think I knew this going in, and I was pleasantly surprised. But Justin Long is in it, and I really like Justin Long. Like he hasn't done anything that I haven't liked, and I fucking when he's funny, he's really fucking funny, and when he's being serious, you're just like he really can go back and forth between both,
hmm
and it works. Um, but his character is. goofy and you're kind of on a cusp of them. You're like, do I like this guy as like, do I like this character or is he a douchebag? I'm not real sure, but it's fun to watch. And the movie doesn't reinvent the wheel in any capacity, but there are a lot of small individual choices that characters make or do throughout the movie that you're just kind of like, this isn't anything groundbreaking, but you're like, I think it's interesting that that one small little detail you slightly you like, you that's a little trope, but you kind of did it different because you know it's a trope, you know? So
You put a
there's
twist on the trope.
yeah,
Mm.
people don't do quite exactly what you expect them to do in certain situations for a horror movie.
Oh, okay.
And it it's fun in that way. And then the second half of the movie uh is more of the crazy horror aspect of it. And none of it's out of left field. It's not a it's very simple to understand the scenario. Um it's a pretty it's not grotesque, but it is a pretty fucked up scenario. Like visually, it's not grotesque, but mentally, like the idea of what's going on is pretty fucked up. Uh,
Okay.
but like I said, like this is I want more shit like this. Like this isn't something that's trying to. There's no big message. There's no big like theme. It's just a movie to be a movie, and it's just having fun with little things along the way. And I'm like, you know what? This is so fucking refreshing. Like it's like I said, this isn't gonna win any fucking awards. I mean, in the horror companies that do their own special awards, yes. But the mainstream awards, no. But it's fucking solid. I was like I said, I'm like, I had no problems with this. This is fucking good. I want more shit like this.
When you say that they don't do what you expect in a horror movie, right?
It's actually kind of almost sad. Like I'm not gonna. I don't want to spoil anything or say anything when it happens, but the perfect example is kind of what Sparrow's kind of alluding at this will answer your question about like people not doing what you expect them to do, where it's you're at a certain point in the movie and you're just like, okay, okay, this is it, this is the moment, and then you expect either like exhilaration because it's like gonna end or just but you expect everything except to feel sad about it at the very end. And then there's a small moment that happens out of I don't want to say out of left field because it definitely fits the character, but something that you didn't expect happened and you're just like, fuck.
Okay. I drop something. Um, my reason for asking that, though, and I think that did kind of answer. There's a phenomenon I cannot remember what it's called in when you're watching a movie, where as an audience we tend to forget that the characters don't realize that they're in a horror movie. Otherwise, they wouldn't do the things that they do, and that's the excuse that in your brain you're supposed to give the movie. But we always watch them in the notion that we are watching a horror movie, and that kind of throws it off. That's why I think movies that don't advertise themselves as horror movies, they pull sneakies on you a lot because you're expecting things to go one way versus the other. So it doesn't do that here, is what I'm hearing, for the
Right.
most part.
No, there's nothing as the story progresses, it's what you see is what you get. They're not trying to fuck with you or change the story in the last second at the end. Like it's just a solid story from beginning to end that is kind of fucked up, but it all makes sense. None of it seems super out of the ordinary with the exception of one small thing, but this is very possible is what I'm saying. Like actually literally quite possibly This actually could theoretically happen in a weird, I mean, it would be rare, like weird and fucked up and whatnot. But I'm like, you know what? This isn't outside the realm. Like I said, it's not supernatural, really. So it but no, yeah, it's how you're saying the actors are acting like they're in a horror movie or something like that along those lines. It's like they don't do that kind like the things that they do, like you might not even notice them, but because it's like they're not trying to shine a light that they're twisting these small things.
Mm.
But it's just something that it's interesting because you're just like if you're watching it, you're like in normal horror movies, the girl would have done this, but this one didn't do that. But it's not like trying to highlight that she didn't do that. But it's interesting. But there's enough differences, and it's not just with her; it's throughout the whole movie that you're just like, okay, they intentionally did some things, but they're doing them very subtly, and everything kind of fucking works. It's a
Okay.
very, very competently made, simple, great horror movie.
We might be putting that one on at some point this month because I have two people breathing down my neck about watching it now. So I was a little hesitant, but now I'm not. So I gotta do that. If you had to give it a quick take star rating,
I don't know if I would give it a straight up 4, but I'd be willing to negotiate between 3.5 and 3.75. But I know we don't do the 7.5. But that's kind of how I'm feeling about it, though. Like, so I would ultimately say 3.5, but I there's room for more, but not a total 4.
okay. I now, you're fighting hard for that 375, which tells me you probably do need to watch it then. Okay, so yeah, I don't want it. I don't want it if it's going to give away any plot because I remember I stopped watching trailers a while back. So,
Okay.
what type of horror movie is this? Unless it's going to give away something major, and then you can just abstain from revealing.
It's really kind of two different styles meshed together in a good way. There's kind of an element of suspense and very high tension of distrust amongst people. So there's that angle. And then and like I said, the other element I can't really get into a whole lot other than the horror element of it. That, like I said, is just kind of fucked up, but it works in terms of the story. And it's like it would be really insane if something like that happened, but it's within the realm of possibility. Like there is a particular news story. I'm not saying that the movie was trying to go for that or anything like that, but I did think of a particular news story within the last 10 years uh where the premise, not so much the horror element. I mean, it's a horrific incident to begin with, but not the crazy horror part, but the premise of what's going on was a real thing. So, like I said, I'm not saying that that's what they were inspired by or that's what they were going for. They may or may not, maybe it wouldn't surprise me, but I didn't hear anything about that. But that's what immediately came to my mind. After you watch the movie, I'll tell you because I'm pretty sure that if there's a particular famous thing from that case that made its way on the internet, So like after you watch the movie, I'll tell you what it is, and then you'll be like, "Oh yeah." You might even fucking figure it out while watching the movie.
Okay, now I'm disturbed. So psychological horror and potentially real life shit. Okay, great.
It is. It is. It's like I said, visually, it's not there. I mean, there's some crazy shit visually. I'm not gonna say that there isn't, but it's not like, oh my God, like the ideas are more horrific than what you see in the movie. You see the results of the ideas that you know that happened.
Sounds like a Cronenberg movie, and I'm kind of here for it. All right.
But yeah, no, I strongly recommend it. Like I said, doesn't reinvent the wheel, ain't gonna, but like I said, I'm liking that horror, like this is the shit that we need for horror to kind of get more of that attention that it deserves. It's shit like this that's gonna help.
Okay. I I'm you've sold me on this one, sir.
Yes. So that's my quick take on Barbarian.